After 3.5 years of solo development, my planet fighting game Sumorbit is out now on Steam Early Access. There were a few reasons for going with Early Access. The multiplayer part of the game is feature complete and has gone through rigorous playtesting, but the single player content is incomplete, and I'd like to get as much feedback on it as possible while continuing development. It currently has one campaign chapter with 21 missions, and I plan to release Chapter 2 and 3 throughout 2024. This way, I can have players return for major updates, rather than just playing once and moving on. Early access will be used to inform character attribute and map balance for multiplayer, and single-player missions will be altered and some may be reworked entirely. This devlog will cover the final bits of polish I added before release. I added a new multiplayer map, Supernova Stadium. The star will grow and do damage when you touch it, and after some time, it will explode in a supernova, killing all planets. I had to make the AI avoid deadly stars and have them bounce if they touch it. This rounds the number of maps out to 8, which is a significant number for the game. There are 8 planets, 8 emotes, 8 tutorials, and up to 8 players. I might still add more maps in the future though. After testing the map, I found that it encourages circle camping at optimal levels of play, since you can't just go through the star to catch up to the player draining health from it. To help mitigate this, I increased the temperature of the red star, which reduced the amount of time you can grab it for health. This made the camping strategy more risky, since it fully drains your grab meter for little health in return. The other maps had the opposite problem. Grabbing the sun for health is supposed to encourage being at the center of the map, and discourage running away from each other. But grabbing the sun was usually not worth it, since it gave so little health. So I doubled the amount of health it gives you. I found that grabs often wouldn't last long enough for a decent throw unless your planet had really strong grip. This made grabs feel unrewarding for small characters like Earth. So I increased the grab time for all characters while swinging opponents. This had a few side effects. To prevent Uranus from draining massive health and then throwing you, I made health drain less effective while swinging, compared to keeping your moon still. It also meant that bouncing off of the ring didn't help as much to break grabs, so I made bouncing the ring cause a grab release. I made bouncing the outside of the ring less punishing. It used to send you flying into the abyss, but now it just stops you in place. Bouncing the ring on the correct side with good timing now has even more kickback. I added connective lines between wormholes. This shows the direction of the other side of the wormhole if it's off screen, as well as helping colorblind people. Skippable missions now show a dashed line on mission select. Stat pickers scale down for low values to make them easier to grab, and there's a new option for keeping your color when selecting a planet in the multiplayer lobby. I added a brake button to slow down your planet when not grabbed or stunned. This is useful mainly for being able to stop your planet still, since it's difficult to do so with no friction. I changed the restart key to tilde to avoid accidental presses of R while trying to spin with the E key. Some people took a while to realize that you could bounce the asteroids to destroy them. It was painful to watch them try to grab the tiny asteroids with their tiny moon. So I made a button prompt for bouncing them. The prompts to move your planet and moon now only show once, instead of following you around whenever you're not using them, since sometimes it can be fun just using your moon and grabbing space to move around. The Cross the Stream mission was pretty trivial, since you could just grab space to make it through the asteroid belt without using the bomb. The easiest solution would have been to disable the moon, but I wanted people to be able to grab the bomb to throw it at the relic debris. My solution was separating Mars from its moon at the start. You have to rescue it from the asteroid belt before making it to the safe zone. You also have to collect it before you can use it to move the bomb for the relic challenge. Players would usually attempt to grab relics, even though they can't be moved. So I added a grid texture behind them to use consistent design language for things that can't be moved. You can now play as any planet in the Sole Survivor mission. The previous missions forced players to try every planet, so I figured I'd let them pick their favorite for the penultimate mission. Oscar did another more intense music track for this and future boss-type missions. A short version of this track also plays in multiplayer matches that reach the final round. Since the last planet standing in this mission is the sole survivor, the final mission now uses the character they pick to win. If players want, they can complete Sole Survivor with all of the planets. There's even an achievement for doing so. Doing this unlocks those planets for future missions where you get to pick your planet. After beating the final mission, players are now shown a "Thanks for playing" screen that encourages them to leave feedback during early access. Despite having around 400 demo players, I only got about 10 feedback form responses. I assume this is because after beating the demo missions, they simply quit the game without noticing the link to the form on the main menu. I added a message encouraging recording or streaming gameplay on the splash screen. It really does help to improve the game. Pretty much every improvement in this video came from watching people play the game. I hope you enjoy it if you decide to pick it up on Steam. Now it's time for me to work on Chapter 2.